Welcome back to Customised Composites. In this video we're going to show you how we would sand and polish up composites to repair scratches or prepare for paint or lacquer. This drawing represents a zoomed in cross section through our carbon fibre top surface, showing the carbon strands below the surface. Our plate doesn't have any lacquer or gel coat, it's resin straight onto the woven carbon, but the same theory applies to gel coat or paint. If the scratches are too deep, it will need to be repaired or repainted. But if they're not, then you do stand a chance of removing them. We have examined the plate thoroughly and don't think that the scratches have gone through the top layer. If they had, it would be almost impossible to remove them without lacquer or repaint, but we're fine, so they should polish out. Basically, we have to remove the surface around the scratches by sanding to make it all smooth again. We only want to remove the bare minimum of material, as this is very, very thin, in this case 0.2 of a mil. We also don't want to sand the scratches out over a small area, as it could leave hollows in the surface, which would be visible after it has been polished. So as we start moving to finer sandpaper, we extend the area that we're sanding to help smooth it all out. Now this really is tedious, and I think is one of the worst jobs in composites, but it is a skill and it's very much a test of patience, so let's get sanding. Merv put these scratches in using 80 grit sandpaper, which we consider to be quite coarse. We have started here initially with 240 grit wet and dry paper using a sanding block to make sure we are sanding down the surface evenly. Merv starts with a large block of foam, then moves to a smaller block. At this stage we're just trying to sand down the surface until the deep scratches have disappeared completely, which they haven't. So I've got to say, I can't see.
No, it's that I can make out there is a part, and then here is another.
Ah, there you go, that's the angle. Yeah, so you've still got a bit of the S there, you've still got a bit of the B, you've still got a bit of something in here. More sanding.
Merv is back onto 240 grit paper, taking his time to make sure every last scratch is out. This has taken him about 45 minutes so far, which has got to be worth a subscribe. But we think we finally have the scratches out. So now for 400 grit. If we were going to lacquer or paint this piece of carbon, we would normally sand it with 240 grit or 320 grit paper as a good key to paint straight onto. Merv is extending the area he's sanding now with the 400, which is the last of the medium grit papers. Fortunately, now polishing does not take anywhere near as long as the initial stage of removing the original scratches. All of the deep scratches are gone. It's now onto the final polishing stage. Before any final polish, we're going to use a dual action sander with 1200 and 1500 grit discs before buffing the surface. We've started buffing with a coarse compound, it's Ferrecla G6, and then moved on to a finer compound, which is G3. After G6 you can still just about see the outline of where we had sanded, and yes, we definitely need a new buffer head. Now we did have to go back over the surface of this after we'd polished it with 1200 and 1500, as there were still some very small scratches in it. The original plate was manufactured on glass, and as per my original drawing, we've ended up removing the resin surface, so the shine doesn't have quite as much depth to it. We would have to lacquer the part really to get the depth back again. Just to prove it, here's the other side of the same plate, which does have a slight level of depth to it. It does take a bit of time to get rid of the scratches, and thanks for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, you've probably got the patience it takes to actually get the scratches out. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Cheers!